This meeting is being recorded.
Good evening, everyone. Let's see here. Couple more minutes for some more people to pop in.
There you are. That was really weird. My camera just kind of went out. I don't know what happened there. Good
That's
evening.
okay.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday already. The week is
Yeah,
flying
no.
by.
And it's been a crazy productive day, but crazy.
Hey,
Hey, Chris.
Chris. Jinx. It has.
Kind of feel jinxy today. Let's see.
All
We'll let
right.
some more people hop in here. I could
I was
see.
just say let's have a wager going. Who wants to place bets on the amount of times that Angel and I say something at the same time tonight?
We need somebody else to say jinx.
Boom, boom. So anything fun in your world today? Afternoon, I should say.
Yeah, and I know Chris will be on with us soon, but for the last 2 days, we've actually been walking some properties, me via FaceTime because I'm not there right now, checking a couple of things out. Did a couple yesterday, a couple today, and that's always my favorite part. As soon as I see a house, my mind starts to just glow with ideals, like, oh, you can do this, you can do this. So that's been fun. Hopefully, we can narrow some down. I
Hopefully,
love
yeah,
to go.
I've been churning through a bunch of deals that have been being sent in.
Yeah. I
I
saw a
don't,
couple of them.
yeah, this week it seems has been quite a bit. Like I checked my email the other day and it just started getting flooded.
Love it. Love it. Send those deals, guys. Love to look at those deals. Always open for a good deal.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
See.
Well, I think the majority's in here. How is everybody tonight? Let's see it in the chat. You guys doing okay? Been a productive week, I hope. For everyone, I know it's been crazy for us. In a good way, though. In a good way.
Jasmine says yes. Oh, Pansy's having a productive day at the moment. It looks like she's cleaning up a flooded basement.
No. And now I wish I was back in Florida right now. We're in that weather band that's coming through and supposed to get like 10 inches of snow this weekend. Not looking forward to it at all.
No,
At
I,
all.
I'm due for over a foot, apparently.
Yeah. And it's okay. As long as we don't lose power, I don't really care. Great excuse to, hang out and eat heavy. So it's all good. But guys, thanks for everybody hopping in here tonight. We appreciate you. Hopefully everybody got in okay. The link was good. Did want to take a minute to say thank you. We had a phenomenal Zoom last week. I know a lot of you were here last week. We ended up kind of gearing toward lending, and there were so many phenomenal questions that were asked. It was just really a great Zoom. But I say that to say that Chris and I have reached out to a couple of really great loan officers that we have and we utilize, and we are going to get someone scheduled in the next couple of weeks. So get your questions prepared. Those ones that trip you up, those ones that are specific to co-living, all those things, start to prepare those questions now. And the ones that we know, these guys are good. They're going to be able to answer it. They're going to be able to answer whatever questions you have and give you any referrals, things like that that you need. So, we will definitely advertise that to make sure that you guys have a couple of weeks to prepare for it. I know sometimes if you do it too quick, people have things on their calendar. So we'll make sure that we do it in enough time to give you guys to really prepare for that. That will be a Zoom that you don't want to miss. Again, we answer a lot of questions simply because we've been through the process, not only as investors, but as TCs, that we do offer escrow and title services. We have completed and closed hundreds of deals nationwide. So we are pretty well seasoned on what lending looks like in a lot of different respects, but we want to make sure that we're bringing you the best of the best so that you can ask those questions and get your solutions that you need. So do be looking for that. We're excited about that. As I said, Chris will be here in just a bit. We did look at a couple of houses today and he got stuck in traffic, so he'll be with us shortly. And again, that's like the funnest part of, to me anyway, I don't know about you guys, but the funnest part of this whole real estate thing is walking properties for me. As soon as I get into a property, like I said, my mind just starts going, like all the possibilities that can happen. Luckily, over the years, I've been able to rein those thoughts into what's plausible financially, along with the excitement of what we can do. So, truly, just exciting part for me, anyway. Also, real quick before we hop into the Q&A section, I hope you guys brought your questions this week. I did want to share a few announcements for everyone. I don't know if there's anyone in here that has not already got into the school community, but moving forward, these Zooms, we do record these Zooms. We just don't post them. We don't post them in the group. But for school, they will start to be posted in there. That way you can go back and refer to them, but that's the only way you're going to be able to get to them is through school. So if you have not already signed up to, it's free, guys. There's no cost to it. If you haven't already signed up for the school community, at some point, Haley will drop the link in there and get in there and do that, because not only will you get the Zooms and people bring great questions every week, so you can always go back and reference those. But we also have our evergreen acquisition system in there, teaches you how to find your market, a little bit on financing, but mostly everything on the acquisition side. So all of that is only in school. So if you're not in there, I suggest you get in there. I don't know if anyone saw the post today, but we have also decided to do an operator's journal. And the reason why that comes up is because, this Zoom specifically, community Q&A, you guys bring such great questions. And although we have a lot of people that attend that are seasoned investors, whether it's with, not necessarily co-living, maybe you've been in long-term rental, mid-term rental for some time, and now you're wanting to step into the co-living world, you're asking great questions. And, hence is why we do this Zoom. We wish we had someone that we could have asked, 3 years ago how to do these things and do them right. And now we just share our seasoned knowledge from, the University of Hard Knocks along the way. But the Operator's Journal, we're going to post every week in school, and that's really going to give you guys a better picture behind the scenes, like what's really happening in the business. What are the things that are, keeping us up at night? What kind of decisions are we having to make on a daily basis? We're going to share, one thing that we're working on for that week, and it's an opportunity for you guys to actively learn and collaborate. Because like I said, there are new people in here, but there are also very seasoned people in here. And collectively, that's the way that all great solutions are made. So even though we may have a great answer for what we're dealing with, it is always great to hear everyone else's thoughts. And then for those of you who are truly just now learning, it's going to open up, a wealth of knowledge for you that, is generally not there for a beginner. So that's one of the things that we've started to do this week. Again, if you're not in school, I did make the first post today on, a small operating conundrum. So get in there, check it out. And not only that, don't just read it, guys. If you are a seasoned operator and you're doing these things, share your knowledge. That's what we built this whole thing for, is to bring value. Zig Ziglar said it best. I wish I could remember the quote off the top of my head, but your success highly depends on the value you can bring to others. So that's why we're all here. Get in there, hop in, be active, and share the knowledge that you have. So just wanted to let you guys know about those couple of things. Again, if you're not in the school community, make sure that you do get in there. That's where all of this stuff is going to live. These are things, and just to take it a little bit further, the things that I'm posting in there, and Jay-Z and Chris will post also, are things that we're truly dealing with, but these aren't things that we're posting anywhere else. They're not going to be on Facebook. They're not going to be on Instagram. They're not going to be anywhere else in social media. These are really behind the scenes. Those things are polished lessons already learned, that we kind of share out on social media. This is what's going on in the thick of it. And we're looking to you guys for great answers, and that's the way that we collectively learn. So, um, again, hop in there if you haven't. That is where those things will live. And we are excited to have you guys in there sharing your knowledge as well. So thank you. And we hope to see you in there. All right, let me pop over here. Oh, I do see Chris is joining. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, guys, I am going to go ahead and open it up. For those of you, this may be your first time in. We do this Zoom every week strictly to bring value to the community, to be of service to you guys, to help you find, walk you through your obstacles, help you come to solutions. So this Zoom is built for your questions every week. So right now, I just want to go ahead and open it up in the chat or raise your hand if you've got a question for us, and we'll go ahead and dive in. Ooh, let me open up the chat. Who is that? Any reactions to the president proposing no investor single family purchases? Okay, so you guys will probably hate me for this, but I agree. I agree. Corporations come in like Blackstone, whomever, come in, they buy these things, and they do drive up home values erroneously, which kind of limit options for a single family investor. So I'm for it. I don't know. I mean, anyone on here, we can absolutely have an open, reasonable discussion about pros and cons. For me personally, Chris and Jay-Z are welcome to weigh in. I think it's the best ideal that I've heard in real estate in a long time. I think it's going to level the playing field for that single investor who can't purchase any more than one property at a time, and also still leave meat on the bone when they do that. So personally, I'm for it. Jay-Z, Chris, you're welcome to weigh in on that.
I would say this is why you and I work so well together. My personal opinion is the exact same. This is something that is geared towards those larger companies versus anybody that's sitting in the room right here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So, although I'm not always happy about policies that roll out, this is one that I am happy to hear, and I'm definitely for, and hope that over the next year or so, once it's passed, that we'll start to see the advantages of that. See, the big guys will find a loophole, and yeah, unfortunately, that's true. Big guys always do seem to find a loophole, but
They
there's
do,
also,
but hey, more funding for us, right?
that's right, that's right. So yeah, all for it. I love that guy. He's my favorite.
All right. We got
Great
Benita, come on
question.
down.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi guys. Oh gosh.
Hey.
Jay-Z, don't you wish you were in Florida right now?
Right. Are you ready for this weekend?
No, I just heard about it. I haven't been really listening to the weather. It's
Better hit the
supposed to.
grocery.
Exactly. That's exactly what I went and did.
You're not too far. You can
Um,
borrow the little one if you need help shoveling.
I've got two little ones to work too, but it's going to be cold. That's the part. It's going to be
Yes.
cold.
Yes.
Um, I just love these sessions because they're so much more intimate, and I feel like I don't have to be on Facebook or YouTube to access this wonderful knowledge that you provide to us. I want to know these properties that you had today. How did you find them, and where are you at in your co-living process? I'd like I like to, I guess, know from the start how everything has transpired in this process for me.
Hmm. Well, to start out, Benita, there's no one single point of contact on how we find a property. So it could be sent to us from a wholesaler, from an agent, a lot of property managers who are in co-living. They have conversations with other investors who are ready to sell. So they're like, hey, we know somebody who might be interested in that area. These happen to be, right in Florida, but there's no one specific way, nor do I suggest anyone like pigeonhole themselves into one way. If you are actively looking to acquisition properties, you should be putting that out there as broadly as possible. You should be, shouting it at the rooftops to wholesalers, to other property managers, to agents. Everybody should know you're in the business of finding a property. If you pigeonhole yourself to one person, maybe you've got an agent that you work closely with, you're only going to get what comes across their desk. So you don't want to do that. Make sure that you let everybody know. Send it out. Anybody you talk to, let them know what you're doing. Hey, I am currently looking for properties. This is what I'm looking for. We've had the conversation about the buy box before. That's why it's so important to always be prepared with sharing your buy box. So you've got to really cast that net broadly if you want to get back and really find a good deal, because Jay-Z probably mans the box a lot more than I do. So I'll let him speak to this. But over time, I mean, we've had up to um, 500, 700 deals coming in at one time during a week. And that's a lot of underwriting. And it's, ladies, just like the frog, you're going to kiss a lot of frogs before you find the prince, right? Same thing with this. You're going to underwrite a ton of deals before you ever find one that's even in a position to move forward without, before due diligence. So cast that net broad. It's the best thing I can say on that, Benita.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think what the
And
percentage
then,
for how many we actually will potentially move forward with are very small compared to how many have already gone through like the second stage, surpass just the simple underwriting.
yeah. So, and just a side tip there, when you are underwriting these deals, make sure that your underwriting is always on the side of conservative. Always give yourself extra padding, because that's really just the first step, right? Once you do underwrite it and you go, oh, okay, this looks like it might be a go, then the due diligence starts. You're going to send your contractor out there. You're going to start to look and see how much investment it's going to take to get it from, innovation to live. So it's definitely a process, and it helps right from the get-go if you're underwriting in a conservative manner. Also, keep in mind, I know a lot of people, have asked about different things that you can add in there, like the acquisition fee. Those things can only be added if the numbers allow it. So by starting out that underwriting in a conservative way, sometimes it does afford you the opportunity to add in different things, that like the acquisition fee, if that's what you choose to do, and the numbers allow for it. Now, the second part of your question, Benita, I need you to clarify just a little bit, please.
So I know that I'm aware that you can get um, somebody to send you the information on a property. So once you get that information from wherever that source is,
Mhm.
do you do the underwriting before you go look at the property, or do you look at the property first through pictures physically? How do you kind of weed out those that you don't want to look at?
Underwriting is the first stop. There's really no need to ever go look at a property if it's just not going to work from the
If it just
get-go.
the numbers
Yeah.
don't work out. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always,
That's what I wanted to know.
yeah,
Okay.
always do that underwriting first. Otherwise, you could waste, precious time. And like I said, once you cast that net pretty wide, you're going to get back a great volume of deals. Everybody will send you deals, good deals, bad deals, terrible deals. They're going to send them all. So just go ahead and go through them and underwrite them. That way, you're only moving forward and wasting time. Well, I don't want to say wasting time, but taking time to do due diligence on those that may possibly pan out. Was there anything else on that second half that I missed, Benita?
Nope.
I want to make sure that
Yeah, yep. I just wanted to make sure that that's the route you take, the step you take first. Thank you.
yes. Yeah. So cast the net. When they start coming in, underwrite them, make sure they're even worth the time to move forward. That is the way we handle it. All right, let's see in the chat. And we're going to probably have to help me out a little bit with the chat. For some reason, I can't scroll through once it's showing on me. Do we have another question?
No other questions at the moment. We do have Veronica did kind of mention from what we were talking about earlier. Unfortunately, the small investors will probably be the ones that are most affected.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So guys, if that's it, we'll get off here. No, I'm just kidding.
Right as you said that, Sean did ask a question. Do you have a
Do you have a
performance?
performance assist with underwriting?
Yep.
Okay, creative deals versus burrs. Yes, but just so you know, Sean, 95% of what we own, we did purchase creatively. The only time that we actually do DSCR loans and things like that are in fix and flips. Now, not to say that we won't in the future do that, but with that said, when we purchase creatively, the point is to stay in it because the reason we purchase it is for that beautiful interest rate, right? So we want to get in at, 2.875. The last thing we want to do is refinance to 5, 6, 7% rate, more of an investor rate. So we don't do a lot of burrs. Not that we won't in the future. I think, as Chris said, made a really valid point last week. You live and you learn. And when we first started buying, we bought a lot of things creatively that we absolutely should not have. We should have went that direction and didn't. So we did learn those lessons. And I only say that to say, even though that what we have now has been, like I said, 95% of it purchased creatively, that's definitely on the radar for the future. We were kind of stuck in that creative mindset that that's the best way to get every deal, but it's truly not. And that was a hard lesson to learn over time. So more to come on that. All right, anyone stuck in a HCO market? I'm in Northern Virginia. Remote management of this type probably seems to be really tough. We are not, we don't have anything in Northern Virginia, nor we have kind of, I guess the best answer for this is we have strictly, with the exception of, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong here, probably four properties. We have mostly tried to stay within a pad split core market. So we didn't have to run into all those issues because they already go in and build those ecosystems. So there's always people available for that. We do have some properties outside, whether they're pad split anywhere or just kind of outside the whole loop there. And we have not, knock on wood, had really run into a problem where we could not find remote management. Now, it does take a little work, and sometimes you have to think outside the box. And what I would suggest, if you have one and you're having a hard time trying to find remote management, even if you're not using pad split, go into the resources and look for that PM, because it does list everywhere that they do it. And if you can find one that's close enough to wherever that is in Virginia that you're referring to, start to reach out to them, because even if they don't, because they're in close proximity, they probably have a network in that area and can refer you to somebody who can help you. So it might take a little extra legwork, but oftentimes those will be your best connectors. Try to find property managers in the area that can connect you to other ones. And Chris and I, this was, I guess, a couple of years ago, we had to actually train a property manager, because at that point nobody really understood how to manage co-living. So, sometimes you have to go that route. If you can't find someone to manage the property in the way that you need it managed, you got to roll up the sleeves and train them yourself. And there are many property managers out there who are, itching to learn co-living, who have experience in leasing and managing, but they've just never done the co-living model, and they're very open to be trained. And the great thing about that is you train them the way you like them trained. So it may require a little extra due diligence and a little extra, elbow grease, but it's definitely a possibility to find or to implement whatever it is that you're looking to do in any market. And if you need some help with that, that's a perfect thing to, and I'll just throw this out here for everybody, guys. When you run into these things, this is why we say you should be inside the school community, because those are the kind of things that others need to see. Because I bet you that there's somebody else that could probably use the answer to what you just posed. And these are great things to share within the group. I hope I answered that question. If I didn't, please clarify, and I'll come back to it. Thank you for that. And I cannot scroll, JC, and it went down.
No
You'll have to read it
problem.
off. I'm sorry.
So we got Sean. Follow-up question. I know you're working with wholesalers, but are you primarily targeting properties that are expired on the MLS or over 90 days to try to negotiate a sub two like most? Or do you have a different target clientele when looking for these types of deals with low rates?
Okay, so we've pretty much gotten away at this point in our journey from not having things given to us. I mean, the people that we work with at this point pretty much know what we want. We are very specific in our buy box, which is always available on our website and very clear to help people understand exactly what it is that we're looking for. And we've worked with so many people in the community for so long. They pretty much know what it is that we're looking for, all the parameters that we ask for. So we are lucky in that respect that a lot of the deals, even if when you break down the numbers, it doesn't work in the end, it still had all the original things that we asked for. Just the numbers themselves didn't work. So again, that's kind of back to that buy box thing. You want to cast that net wide, but don't just say, I'm looking for a creative co-living asset. You need to get really specific, or you'll be all over the place, and everybody bringing you stuff is going to be all over the place. Cast the net, but make sure you're specific in what you're putting out there, so the return is what you actually want. And as we over time, we've learned that, and we've got very specific about what we want, and pretty much, well, maybe 90%, Jay-Z, of what is returned to us would meet, that buy box 100%, even if the numbers didn't work in the end.
100%. And that would be my follow-up to Sean is the place that question is coming from. Is that you doing your own marketing for your own deals, or is this you speaking to wholesalers? Now, we've had the pleasure at this point to where we're not specifically reaching out to any agents, or we're not directing wholesalers to go do that, because that is their business model. That's what they work on. They work on the marketing. So we let them handle doing any of the negotiating on their end before they put it under contract. And then if it happens to fit the buy box and it works within the parameters that we set, then we'll go ahead and we'll put our eyes on it.
Hope that answered your question fully. Okay. Any other questions? You're welcome.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful question.
It was. And I'll just talk about why I don't there may be somebody trying to formulate a question, but real quick, I do want to go back to the buy box because I think a lot of like newer investors don't give it as much thought as they should. But it's super easy, guys. Even if you just take one of the communities we're in, just say sub two, for example, there are what, 17,000 people in there now, I think. If you just drop a post in sub two and say, I'm looking for a co-living asset, even if you got a little specific, low entry fee, must be 1,500 square feet. I cannot tell you, out of those 17,000 people, which the majority of those people are wholesaling, how many deals you're going to get back that are not really even close to what you needed. And you're going to waste so much time. I know at one point, this was a few years ago, we wasted hours a day underwriting for things that really weren't going to meet our buy box to begin with. So make sure, and if you need something to reference, you can go to our operationsrescue.co website where we list our buy box and take kind of, you don't have to have the same buy box, but it's a good model. It's very specific. If you are already somebody who's operating in the space, you know what you want. You should be able to be very, very specific. And don't accept anything that's not specific to your buy box. And that's one thing. It takes a little time when you first get going. But if you have a wholesaler Joe, who keeps sending you deal after deal after deal, and you've been very clear with Joe what the buy box is, tell Joe don't send you anymore, and tell him why. I've been specific about my buy box. This is what I need. I'd appreciate it if you not junk up my inbox with stuff that's not relevant to me. And that might sound a little harsh, guys, but for those of you who have been in our shoes and you have looked at 500, 700 deals in a week, you understand where I'm coming from. Those are hours you're never going to get back. Wasted hours that you're never going to get back. So, if I can encourage you to do anything, if you're actively, and Benita, you're definitely a good example because, the one you have, whatever one you're looking for next would be your actual first asset. If you're going to cast that net, make sure, hey, I need at least minimum, a 3-2. I want it to be at least 1,500 square feet. If you want it creative, you need to say that. If you want an entry fee of less than $25,000, you need to say that. So take the time to really sit down. It also needs to be reflective of your business model. If you're hopping into co-living because you want to do sober living, or you want to do it for aging adults, you need to put that in your buy box. Otherwise, you're going to get things that are not relevant to your niche. So your buy box is not only just something you need for, to market what it is that you're looking for, but it needs to be so specific that it's going to ensure what you're getting in is not going to waste your time. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I'd say if there have been wasted hours on anything, it's probably underwriting deals that really we shouldn't have even bothered with, but it was our fault because we didn't get as specific as we needed to. So please make sure that you do that. If you're going to throw that net out, make sure it's very specific so you're not getting back a bunch of stuff that's not relevant to where you are and what you're doing.
I 100% agree with that statement. I've even taken it as far as, we as buyers, we do have a little bit of a responsibility for some of the wholesalers because there's a lot of newbies out there as well, and there's going to be things that they don't quite understand yet. So I know some people get bogged down by the amount of questions that they have to answer or the amount of touch points that they have to make with a wholesaler when looking at a potential deal because there's a lot of missing information. I will give them the benefit of the doubt maybe 2 to 3 times, and the only reason is because then I start asking them questions. I have them write it down, and then I have them make sure that they have all of that information before they bring it. And After that second time, I let them know, hey, if none of this is here, I'm not even going to look at the deal.
Mhm.
But you can do it in a way that's not so mean and still have that mutual
Absolutely.
understanding of it. So it's okay to be able to have those boundaries and set those as the buyer as well.
Absolutely. And be good to your wholesalers. Like I said, you
Yeah.
know, that's oftentimes the starting point for anyone getting into real estate investing. You know, everyone kind of starts out wholesaling, or a large majority of them. And that's where they truly learn the lessons. And they can be a huge benefit to your business in so many ways, not just in bringing you in property, but in so many ways that wholesaler can be an asset to your business. Take the time to educate them, get to know their business and what they're doing. And you should equally be able to tell that wholesaler how you bring value to him, just as much as he or she brings value to you. So don't disregard that, you know, and like Jay-Z said, I say these things and I mean what I say, but of course it's the way and you communicate that to them. You know, you want to be of value to them just as much as they are to you. And a lot of wholesalers don't have the knowledge. I think if I hear one complaint about wholesalers all the time, it's they say they give wrong renovation numbers. Like, you know, they'll calculate an entry fee with 50,000 in renovation when somebody sees it and looks at it and goes, oh no, that's going to need at least 80,000. And that's probably the biggest complaint. But in all honesty, guys, it's not a wholesaler's job to know how much your renovation is needed because they don't know your business model and they don't know what you're going to do with the property. Those are all just guesstimates. So don't be so hard on those guys.
Mhm.
But you, as a customer of theirs, help to educate them on what you want and what you require for your business model. And the wholesaler buyer relationship can just be phenomenal when both sides see it that way, that you're bringing value to each other, not just, oh, he's a wholesaler, you know, and I'm going to disregard what he can bring to my business. That's you'll lose so much opportunity when you do that.
Oh, 100%. The relationships, the connections, everything that come along with that relationship between you and a wholesaler. And this is just my humble opinion, Angel. I don't know if you have any other thoughts or you think that it starts somewhere else, but I almost feel like every single time it comes down to the underwriting when you're talking about numbers with a wholesaler. I can't tell you how many wholesalers I've spoken to over the last couple of months. So when I let them know that the numbers aren't going to work, at first they have a little bit of an argument or a pushback about how well they will work until I actually open up. I'm like, all right, do you want to jump on a quick 5 minute Zoom? I'll pull up a spreadsheet. We'll sit down. We'll go through the numbers and why this doesn't work for us specifically. Every single time I've gotten, oh my gosh, thank you. I didn't even realize that you guys account for this cost, that cost, this goes into it, that goes into it.
Yeah, and it is a little more difficult with co-living because a true entry fee for co-living is going to be well beyond what a true entry fee is for just, say if you're going to do a fix and flip or you're going to convert just to, a single family rental. There are so many more things that go into that. And, it is our job to educate them. That's going back to your buy box and what it is you're looking for specifically. So, I know Chris and I totally appreciate when you do that, Jay-Z, because again, it goes back to relationship building. There are so many great wholesalers out there. I mean, just like anything else, there's also bad ones out there, but the good ones will stick with you and the more you educate them on what you want, the more properties they're going to bring you that are pretty damn close to what it is that you're looking for most of the time. So, um, again, just that's a relationship that should always be evolving and growing.
Oh,
Absolutely.
100%. We have a specific wholesaler right now that has sent a couple deals, one that we almost looked at the other day. And having a little bit of a further understanding, he is now revamping his processes within his business. So yes, we're turning the deals down, but we're also at the same time making his business better and a little bit more efficient for him.
And just to add on to that as well, we don't want you guys to categorize wholesalers as just investors, as just one individual box. And what I mean when I say that is a perfect example is property management companies. Over in our Texas market, Angel actually mentioned earlier how we actually trained one of the property management companies on co-living. And then it got down to literally having them on a Zoom and they wanted to understand our buy box. Them as property management companies has been that could be a whole business itself, guys. That they'd be double dipping in a way. They're wholesaling and also they're going to get the property management as well, so that can actually help them. But you got to think about it. They're looking and overseeing assets that's either LTR that's potentially not making money, and or there's there are people reaching out to them all the time for management and or don't know exactly what exit strategy to go forward with. Once we hopped on that Zoom, I kid you not, our Texas market started to streamline. We didn't have people on Facebook reaching out to us. We didn't have anyone giving us a call. It was, hey, here's a text message. Here, these numbers, we already put it in the calculator and or we already ran the numbers. We know this fit the buy box. What is the next steps? And it kind of streamlined the communication where you didn't have to hop on the phone, spend 10, 15 minutes wasting time. It literally got to a point where anything that came over from, I was going to say his name, Johnny, when it came over for Johnny, we already knew it was good. And
That's a
that could happen in any market, guys. I'm just giving you an example of truly a realistic example of what happened to us and how we streamlined Texas because they're boots on the ground throughout Houston, Dallas, and many other variations of Texas. And for them to be boots on the ground and send us the deals already with also the conversion, that's that's even better. Hey guys, this is a 4 bed, 3 bath. I know we can convert it over to a 10 bed, 4 bath, and this is how much you need. It may take a little bit of time to ensure that they understand the numbers, but it's well worth it.
That's a great point, Chris. If you do have a good relationship, whether it's with a wholesaler or a property manager, like Chris said, it might take a little time to educate them. And you're not going to give everybody your calculator and things like that. But when you start to see that that type of relationship is developing, I mean, Chris, let's be honest, how much time in a week do you think that saved us in Texas market?
Oh my God.
We no longer had to underwrite deals. Those guys were doing it for us. Like
Yep.
Chris said, they were already converting. We can get, maybe it's a 3-2. We can get 8-3 out of this. All those things were already being done because along the way, we were taking the time to teach them exactly what we were looking for. And it saved hours in a week.
It did. Sean actually brought up a question that may be kind of relevant to that as well, because you can throw them into exactly what we're talking about. He had asked if we've done a lot of agent outreach as well to generate potential co-living deals.
That's
Um,
sorry, Jay-Z, go ahead.
no, you were all good. Go ahead, finish that thought, man.
So yes, actually, our actually most recent acquire was from an agent. And they wholesaled it out. They hosted it out. I believe the fee was about 10 to 15,000, if I'm not mistaken. The entry fee on that specific one was around 20,000, which was actually not bad, due to the situation, the house and all that good stuff. But yeah, there was actually an all-in-one property management company actually out here in Florida. Did the contracting, they actually they owned the brokerage and did the property management company. So there's 3-in-1, which was great for us, but at the same time, that's actually another way to actually acquire leads that's a little bit more qualified
Mhm.
because you're not dealing with someone who's I wouldn't say inexperienced. I don't think that's the right terminology, but you're dealing with someone who's professionals and just they want to get the job done and make money.
Like,
Yep. Personally, I love talking to agents about co-living. A couple months back, I did put a couple stories up on Facebook where I was spending some time just to show people how Alex Hermosi says it's simple, not easy, but how simple those conversations truly can go. This is all about how you approach them. And I don't think I've had a single agent. I had one that I did put some videos up there. He was a little tongue in cheeky at first, but we ended up getting on a second call after that. The ones that didn't understand were looking to understand and they were asking questions. And then in the follow-up conversation, I found myself explaining our processes, what we're looking for, how we do it, and they're taking it in. And just like Chris was saying earlier with property management companies and all of that, you get an agent who gets interested in that. Not only now are they looking for you, but they're looking for other people, but they've got years of experience, which means guess who's doing the majority of your underwriting for you by the time that deal hits your plate.
Yeah, I mean, it's human nature. People always want to bring value. You know, we're all in this business to bring value. So when you can educate these people, they really do take things off your plate, and it's phenomenal. Like Chris said, we don't we don't actively outreach anything at this point. We have, over the last few years, really developed some really great relationships, and just building those relationships has given us more than we probably could have ever asked for otherwise. So when you're doing that and you're actually building those valuable relationships, you don't necessarily have to deal with so much of the mess. It's the best way to put it. People start to bring you things that are valid, ready to move, and exactly what you're looking for.
And not forced. I think that's
And not forced. That's good.
A
That's
lot of
good.
people reach out to us and say, "This, don't miss out on this opportunity. Before I send it to someone else, I want to make sure you look at it. It's going to be gone by tomorrow." And when someone comes to us like that, in all honesty, I don't respond for a few days.
Yeah.
I don't. Those are the worst deals, in all honesty.
Mhm.
Those are the worst deals. And then when we do finally respond, oh, we have another buyer interested. But if you're really serious about this, but
Yeah.
it's just those statements, and it doesn't phase me anymore. It just, I laugh when I see those kind of things, and when it's in our inbox or your email or wherever it comes from, it just gets to a point where if it's truly meant for us to buy the deal, we will buy it. We're not gonna. We're at a point of our lives where we there's so much opportunity out there, guys, and you got to understand which ones are going to be the right fit for you and your business.
And
There may be 6 opportunities right now in your inbox, and there may be 5 of them that you want to purchase. Which ones are you truly trying to fit into your buy box, or which one is truly in your buy box? And those are hard lessons that we all learned because we have been in that position where this is a great opportunity, don't miss out, and we didn't want to miss
And we get stuck in a bidding war out of nowhere. And we're like, I said I wasn't going to do that again.
And it just got to a point where we understood exactly where our line in the sand was in our business and how we was going to move forward. So anything we buy now, we understand that it's in our buy box, and not just that. If it's even outside of our buy box, we're not going to move forward. We have a sweet spot for a reason. We're conservative for a reason. As you guys know, over the last couple of weeks, months, we've been talking about some of the obstacles and challenges we've been going through behind the scenes. We don't want anyone on this Zoom to go through that at all. You got to be conservative. You got to know your numbers. You have to understand that every deal is not for you, although it may appear to be great.
Right.
I mentioned a few weeks ago, guys, there was a point where I made $180,000 in 8 weeks. It felt great at that time. 3 years later, I'm reaping it. I'm facing all the obstacles from that. It felt great. Imagine 8 weeks. 8 weeks, guys, $180,000 from buying properties, acquisition fees. Imagine if we kept doing that on a every 8 weeks. Every 8 weeks, that's a lot of money you could have made it. Well, we could have made it that year. But we had to stop and realize, wait a minute. We have to understand what we have here. Was this the buy box? Or did we just took the deal because someone said it was great and we believed them? So those are things that tough lessons that we learned, and I know I can speak for our team. We glad we went through it due to the fact of it could have probably caused a worse situation years down the line. Imagine owning billions of dollars, guys, without systems, without processes, without understanding what those obstacles were. And now that the obstacles were it came about and it did actually happen, we know how to not let it happen again, and we understand specifically what went wrong. There's probably a page list of things that went wrong, but in the short version of things, just understanding your buy box, guys. When you build that buy box, stay within that buy box. Don't force it. Don't let another wholesaler, a family member, friend tell you, oh, this is going to a great deal. And I understand that everyone has compassion for family and friends and maybe even a potential seller that's going through something. Although that seller may be going through something and you looking to try to help them, that is fine. There's another investor out there that may be a great fit for their buy box, but not yours. We wanted to help everyone. We wanted to literally help anyone and everyone to make sure they were taken care of, from sellers, agents, wholesale. I can go down the list, everyone we came in contact with. The sellers behind $60,000, no problem. We'll get you out this jam. Sellers taken care of. 6 months down the road, what's really happening? The project has foundation issues. We have to come up with another $120,000. Contractor ran off with $40,000. Now we're coming out of our personal pocket just to get the next steps going. These are things we all have to take in consideration when buying properties, and it starts with understanding your buy box and back to the marketing point of view. But the buy box is key, guys. And I know a lot of people actually all of us on this Zoom, we're at different stages in our life. And you may have no assets or you may have 100 assets. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But understanding your buy box is going to be key, guys. There's going to be a shit ton of deals that come towards you on a weekly, daily, monthly basis from wholesalers and anyone that tells you it's a great deal. And sometimes it's okay to believe them, but you need to verify that. Perfect example, I kid you not, one of the realtors actually over here in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm gonna say it. I feel like he he got one over on us. I'm just gonna say it, and that's the nicest way I'm gonna say it today. He got one over on us, and that's okay. I'm not upset at him. He made about $15,000. Never heard from him again. That's fine. But I promise you, we won't buy another deal from him. The accountability starts with us. We should have did our due diligence versus trusting the real estate agent who has so many years of experience, 15 years in industry, owns his brokerage, owns his own brokerage, and then not just that, he does a lot of other things in real estate. No matter what level they may appear to be, you have to verify, guys.
Great. And that just to add to that, Chris, it's the hardest thing to do. Once you have a solid buy box, stick into that buy box. It truly is a hard thing to do, but it's a must, guys. So if something doesn't fit your buy box, just move on. Just move on, especially when you're first starting out. And I don't know if you guys had saw a post. Somebody had responded to one of my posts, and after talking about this very thing, and said, "Hey, how did you learn?" And like Chris said, it was truly hellfire and brimstone, because so it was. I mean, there's no other way to say it, because you can't, especially if you're starting out, you can't grow too fast. If co this your first purchase is going to be your first co-living asset, set the foundation. Take the time to set that foundation. Get your systems in order. Make all the first mistakes if that's what you need to do. But before you go into that next one, you know what you're doing. You know what to expect. You've got a foundation set. You've got systems in place. And then after your second and third one, then you start to bring in the team aspect of it. It's a process. And like almost any other process in life, there's steps to take. You've got to stay in your lane, guys. And it's all exciting, and it's all, great to, like Chris said, make you feel like you're making money hand over fist. But if you don't set the foundation, it does. It will rain hellfire and brimstone, and could likely ruin you if you're not strong enough to weather the storm. So just keep that in mind. And I'm just going to bring it back to this. That's why we're here, and that's why we're doing what we do. We made a lot of mistakes. We burned bridges. We damn near burnt the house down. We learned the hard lessons, and we don't want to see you guys do the same thing. So we're always here to share. If you need advice, again, you've got questions and it's not Thursday night, drop it in the school community so we can help you all not make those same mistakes that we made, because they can be catastrophic. Luckily, we're still standing and growing, so got to learn to stick to those processes and do things right, no matter how hard it is. All right, so thank you. Also curious to hear what markets people like, since I probably need to get out of my area unless I do Richmond. Neil, I don't, other people I guess can respond in the chat. For us, I mean, we like any pad split core market is an open market for us. Doesn't matter, nationwide, anywhere. We will look at properties outside of pad split. We prefer, if we do that, to stay along the coastline, just because we have great ecosystems set up there. They're kind of a no-brainer whether we're running it through pad split or not. And I guess everybody else can kind of share what they like. But I'm going to go back to, I don't remember who posted that first question, Neil. Just because you might feel like you're in a market that can't be supported, chances are good there's probably opportunity there. My apologies, guys. I meant to put my phone on vibrate. There's probably still opportunity there. You just might need to do a little more due diligence to connect to the right people that can support whatever it is that you're trying to do in that area. Northern Virginia. Got it. Well, I mean, if you guys, just so you know, if you guys, we do that. We do partner with people. We also, oftentimes we will go in and help someone who maybe they have purchased a property and their intent was to do co-living, and things go awry, especially when you're new to this. People bring us in all the time, either to consult or to come in and for an equity share, and we'll come in and operate the asset. So, if any of you are in that position, reach out. We're happy to have a call about it to see if, that's something that can work for you, but don't give up on it. Don't think that something's not possible and give up on that asset. sometimes you just need a second set of eyes and people who know how to make the right connections and build the right ecosystem. So if you find yourself in that position and you need our help, reach out again. Like I said, we're happy to hop on a call and kind of talk you through that. Yeah. Well, Neil, the price doesn't necessarily matter. It's the revenue that can be generated from it. But again, that was something that we'd have to put through underwriting and see if that's a possibility at that price point to make money. Because it can. I mean, just because we do have a sweet spot, but again, most of our assets are anywhere between 7 and 11 doors. You know, anything's a possibility. I mean, we've underwritten quite a few and actually moved forward on what, 15, 17 doors, Chris? And they were
Absolutely.
technically perfect. You know, they fell apart for other reasons, and it's not because they weren't capable of producing at those price points. So it's okay. I mean, it could be 850,000, but if the revenue that can be made there, you know, is plausible, then you can still move forward. No, thank you, Sean. Yeah. So guys, I know I think we're actually over the hour. So if there aren't any final questions, thank you guys. Yes. We love to do this every week. Again, just a quick reminder, we will advertise when we've got that person set up to do the lending Zoom. If you haven't already joined the school community, get in there because we're going to start sharing some of that stuff from the operator's journal and also the recordings so you guys can go back and watch those. Look out for that. And if you have anything between now and next Thursday that needs to be answered immediately, we will answer it. Either myself, Jay-Z, or Chris will get in there and answer those questions. But, you know, we're going to do it in the school community. We are all across social media and posting in so many different groups. It's hard to, you know, keep up on all that. If you have a real serious question and you need it answered, put it in the school community. That's where our eyes are. That's, you know, those of you who have taken the time to move from the Facebook group into school, we honor that and we love that. And we're gonna answer those questions first. So we'll leave you with that. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Thursday, and we'll see you guys next week.
Wonderful Thursday, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.